Spotrac dropped their article on what they heard over Summer League, and we got some details coming from a Bulls exec on the future of Coby White, how they view Josh Giddey, and more. We're going to talk about it all and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another. Whoa, wrong intro. I have to edit that. Wrong intro. Wrong
That's
show.
all right. That's okay. We still here.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Pat, we got a lot of details coming out from this one, man. First of all, shout out to Spotrac dropping articles all of a sudden. That's going to be their next phase. They're like created a trade machine over the course. They're just slowly trying to take over everything in regards to basketball and sports. But
facts.
This was an article in which they went team by team and what they heard from NBA execs and things. And a lot of this came from a Bulls exec and a Bulls coach as well. And we're going to start off with the one about Coby White. I think that's a good place to start. We talked a lot about Josh Giddey. We'll trickle that in here as well. But in regards to Coby, they said this: the contract is what it is. We probably can't extend him because the rules don't allow for us to pay him enough. But we want Coby. We want him to be a Bull for a long time. He knows how we feel about him. Pat, I don't know about you, but that sounds like they're ready to open up the book for Coby White.
I mean, we don't know if we can extend him part is very questionable. Is that just me?
No,
I mean, I get it. I get it now.
Yeah,
but like it's listen, I think it's pretty clear that the Bulls have wanted Coby White. When we talk about the things that they have passed on for Coby White, I guess the question is this a in the moment right now conversation, or is this a long-term conversation on how you feel about Coby White? Because in the moment right now, again, I mean, you have said this many a times, right? A Bulls exec could be anybody from, somebody bringing pencils up there to Arturas Karnisovas. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of executives in that office, but I'm assuming we're thinking that somebody that has some kind of power, which I don't think he's saying anything we didn't know. We knew they wanted Coby White. We knew that they wanted that based on the deals that they've passed up, multiple first-round picks they've passed up that could have been there, multiple players that they've passed up that could have been here in Chicago. They could have come in and maybe supplemented some of the things that Coby White does, and yet you still wanted to keep Coby White. And it just there are times like this where I do wonder, like, I wonder if this is the Lowry thing kind of coming back, where it's like, we gave up on him and we were done with him, and then he left and actually became a really good player. But I'm not mad at Coby White being here. I think that Coby's a fine piece. I don't think he's a number one on your team. I think he's a very good he can be a good number two. I think he can be a very good supplementary scorer on your team. Like, there's a lot of reasons to want Coby White for this Bulls team. And if you can find a good way to come out of this without giving him, $40 million, then yeah, fine, get the job done. I'm not mad at Coby being a part of this Bulls team. I do think he has some skills that are replaceable, or you could bring other people in to do. But I think, I don't know how you feel about this, but when I hear that, I'm like, okay, sounds like the writing's on the wall for maybe some of the other scorers on this team. Is a Kevin Huerter truly a part of the future of this team if you're keeping Coby White?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had my doubts on if Kevin Huerter was a part of the future part of this team anyway. Personally, I mean, but you need multiple scorers now, I think, in modern NBA too. The Bulls had the sixth best offense in the league as far as scoring wise. You're not going to get there if you just jettison off your other scorers because you got Coby. But I do think they're hoping, of course, that there's going to be like a Matas. I was going to be able to do just reasonable contracts without having to sign people to huge deals. But it's not too surprising. AK said it. It was the first or second summer league game in which he was like, yeah, we want Coby and Josh Giddey to both be here for a long time. And this just kind of echoes that. It's just, just putting it into another gear. In regards to Josh Giddey, though, they did say this. This comes from the Bulls exec as well. We want to get a deal done. He's an important, he's as important of a player as we have. We see him as a foundational player for us. Hope we can find a deal that makes sense for us and him, and that we'll be together for a long time. How do you feel about that quote? What do you think that quote means in regards to Josh getting the contract extensions?
Listen, I don't think the want to is a question. I think that the want to pay him what he wants is the big question with Josh Giddey here, right? We both said this. You don't get better by getting rid of Josh Giddey. You just don't. Your team doesn't get better. Your team takes a step back if you move on from Josh Giddey. That's obvious this season. And it's not what AK wants to do. It's not how AK wants to operate. He wants to stay competitive. He wants to stay at this play-in level and try and add pieces that you can build onto that team to help you get higher into the playoffs. He doesn't want to go backwards. I think the entire time we've kind of known that the Bulls want to bring Giddey back. I think the question mark that the Bulls probably have is the second half of this season, the real Josh Giddey, or is more of the first half of this season if somebody else steps up, which to me, either way, right? Like maybe your expectation or what they want Josh Giddey to be is not a $30 million player. Maybe they want him to focus more on the facilitating and stuff like that. But even in that sense, right now you're paying him to help other people be better. And I don't know how you can have long-term feelings or long-term comments when you're clearly offering him a deal that it doesn't seem like he's very willing to take here, or even willing to budge to try and get closer on that deal.
Yeah. I mean, that's the part about this whole negotiation thing that's the most surprising. Is like both sides are just so far I guess just waiting on the other one to blink is what it seems like.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like either side is budging as it stands right now. As far as these two, let me ask you this. Since it seems like the Bulls are very well ready and prepared at the number that they feel is fair, though, is ready to lock in with Giddey and Coby as your backcourt. Do you think that like, how do you feel about that being the backcourt of the future? If Giddey signs this offseason at some point, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, Coby signs another 3-4 year deal, and that's your backcourt now for the next 3-4 years, unless you make a move. Do you feel like that's a good enough backcourt to build something off of? Are they a foundational backcourt together?
It's a fine backcourt as long as somebody else develops.
Okay.
That's what I'll maintain. I like Josh Giddey a lot. I think that Josh Giddey could be a really good player for this Bulls team. I think he's somebody that gets the offense going. I think that Coby White could be a really good scorer for this team. That's not the backcourt that you're building your team around, though. Right? That's not having Kyrie Irving and, name a top shooting guard in the league back there. Those are, solid pieces to have, but you need other things for those two to be successful out there. And I think we've seen that. You need somebody else to step up. Yes, last season was enough to get you to a certain point, but for you to get to that next level, Coby White's been here and he's been in this role for at least the last 2 years. I think that we've seen kind of what Coby can be. Josh Giddey's the big question mark, but I don't expect the 25, 8-8 Giddey that we were getting so often at the second half.
I'm cool with 16, 8-8.
I'd love that, but here's my thing: that 8-8 now has to help somebody else become the 25 point per game guy.
That's facts.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, I said it Monday morning on the show, right? You have a great foundational team for a superstar to plop into. You got to figure out who that superstar is, or star at this point, right? Like, just finding that star in this second year, whether it's Matas, whether it's somebody you had in the summer of 26, whatever it is. I like the team that you have, but you have to have that guy that's the driving force of this team. I don't think Giddey and Coby are either one of them.
So you mean to tell me Patrick Williams isn't the star of this team?
You
Pat, is that what you're trying to say?
We're not doing this. We're not sitting here. No, he's not.
How dare you say we need to find the superstar? Pat's sitting right there, Pat.
You bastard. I'll tell you what. Patrick Williams' game is just the equivalent of this at this point. I mean, just terrible. Just terrible.
Oh, why does it look like Trae Young if he was bald?
It is Trae Young if he was bald. That's pretty much why we threw the picture in there.
I don't remember, bro. We got so many troll pictures in there. I don't even remember the origin story for half of them anymore.
Listen, Patrick Williams hustled Bulls fans' hopes just like Ace Bailey's agent. You know what I mean?
Bro.
Like, that's kind of
that's never not gonna be funny, bro.
That fur ain't real, right? Is that fur real? That's not a real fur, right?
That's that Coca-Cola mink. He skinned cats in Cleveland for that coat.
That looks like Siberian yak ass, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, though.
You say that on Locked On?
I think so. It's a yak ass. Could I not? Maybe not. I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. We'll see if we get that note from Nick. That's crazy. But we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to get over more details coming out of this article, as well as an interesting quote on Isaac Okoro. I want to see how Pat feels about that and his place on the team coming up next. But first, we got to get to a message from FanDuel.
You good?
My computer completely froze. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it more exciting and more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet ride into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Again, that's if your first $5 bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today and visit FanDuel.com to get started. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. So, getting more into this article that came out here in regards to Isaac Okoro. He mentioned how Isaac Okoro fits into this roster, saying this. Last year, we played pretty fast. I think we can play even faster. Our roster is built for it. And you saw with Indiana and OKC in the finals that playing that pace is so important. We're going to get after it on defense, force turnovers, and then get out and run. That suits Matas and Noah as our young forwards and all of our guards, as well as we think that Isaac Okoro will benefit in a more up-tempo style too. There's untapped potential there, and that came from a Bulls coach. A lot there in regards to the Bulls style, even how they see Matas and Noah as the forwards of the future. But that key part at the end, that they think that they got a player with untapped potential in Isaac Okoro. How you feeling, Pat?
I mean, listen, I don't know if I go as far as, the sidebar here where it says viewed as a major upgrade. I think he is healthy. That's an upgrade.
I mean, that is a major upgrade.
I guess in theory, right? That could be.
Instead of 70 games in 5 years, Pat, you could get 70 in one season.
Listen, Isaac Okoro has been fairly healthy. You could get 70 in one season. I think here's the thing. The three-point shot is improving. I don't know if people are paying attention to that or not, but now it's not on a ton of volume threes. I'll bet you Isaac Okoro probably shoots more threes here than he's ever had an opportunity to shoot in his career. I think that Isaac Okoro is not only Lonzo Ball replacement, but possibly future Patrick Williams replacement. I know the size is very different there, which is hilarious because you could have just drafted Isaac Okoro. I know the size is very different there, but like he's knocking down the three. He's been as good as 39% in his career. Last season, he was 37% from the 3-point line, and that was in basically going from being a player who was playing 30 minutes a game to 19 minutes a game. So the shot selection is very different for that player. But the one thing about Okoro that I love is the defensive ability, and you can throw him out there, and he can guard 1 through 3 well. Depending on the 4, he can get after the 4 well. There's a lot that he brings to the table. I think that you could talk about it as an upgrade over Lonzo, over Patrick Williams, over a guy like, here's the thing. You don't have a primary defender on this team. Maybe Ayo Dosunmu can be that guy, and it's probably who you would say it is, but you don't have a guy that can guard like Lonzo could. Like, that's the hope here for Isaac Okoro. And if he can do that and be a little bit more efficient offensively, although Lonzo got incredibly efficient by the end of his tenure here with the Bulls, like, I think that could be viewed as an upgrade. Now, that's yet to be seen, but he's still a very young player. There's still a ton of opportunity for you. And I mean, like, if you're talking about somebody who gives you everything that Lonzo gave you, but also can give you that for 76, 69, 67 games a season.
You just had to say the 69?
69, yes.
Okay.
That's what you want to get from a player.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know if you got the chance to see the video that the Bulls dropped, the interview with Isaac Okoro today, in which he talked about that he wants to lock up the opposing team's best player for the Bulls next year. And if he can do that, great. I think when you look at Okoro, he is he's going to be one of those point of attack defenders that we need. We only got a few of them on the team. One of them in Patrick Williams that was a former point of attack defender is completely fallen off the cliff defensively over the last couple of years. So you need that. And I think that he does fit in with how the Bulls like to play, what the Bulls are going to need him for. And one of the first things you touched on is the biggest thing I'm watching for Okoro next season, because I think Isaac can guard. That's not a problem there. I'm looking at how can you keep the 3-point percentage the same with slightly higher value, right? Maybe an extra 1.5 threes, 2 threes per game next season. If you can do that and keep the percentage the same, like you said, like you're Patrick Williams' replacement at that point in time. You're bringing us exactly what we wanted for P. Will.
Listen, let's not get it twisted. His 3-point shots are about to probably double at least. I think he's averaged over his time. I think there's one season with the Cleveland Cavaliers where he's averaged 3 3-pointers a game. Isaac Okoro is going to be a 5 to 6 3-pointers per game type of guy, because what he's going to become for this team is you're on the wing when Giddey is cutting down to the basket. You're going to be standing out there. Literally what we were asking P. Will to be. Just knock down these wide open shots that everyone keeps giving you. And if he can do that on a consistent basis, there's a job for him. Listen, Kevin Huerter was kind of that player at points throughout last season in the second half of that season, but it wasn't consistent enough. You need somebody who can give you that consistency. I think that Isaac Okoro can be that guy. I think what that does for Coby White is it allows him to kind of move around the court a little bit more and be more off the ball, but still be able to get involved there, because he doesn't have to be the guy now taking up that spot in the corner. I think kind of with where Noah Essengay and Matas Buzelis are with their 3-point shots, right? You don't have to rely on Vooch and or one of your other bigs being that guy. There's a lot that Okoro can take advantage of here, and it's just about, does he really fulfill the opportunity that they're going to give him? I think that he's going from being a guy who kind of was viewed as an end of bench, nice piece, yeah, we got better players for you, because Donovan Mitchell's not giving you those threes. Donovan Mitchell's taking those threes. I think he goes from being that dude at the end of the bench to basically being the guy that's like, yo, you legitimately are the 3-and-D wing we need. You got to go out there and be efficient.
Let's hope so. He's going to definitely have the opportunity here. That's for damn sure. One last quote here that I want to get into in regards to this. Matas Buzelis. You know, we like to talk about Matas. He says he's going to be really, really good. He wants it so damn bad. The kid pushes himself so hard, and you see that on the floor too. But it's the quiet moments when you see him work. He's wildly intense about getting better and improving. That just solidifies what we've already seen about Matas Buzelis so much, man.
Yeah, listen, y'all know how I feel about Matas. I think there's going to be a big uptick in the Bulls giving him the opportunity this year. Whether the production comes, I think that would be great to see, and I'd be very excited. There's so many people around the league that look at Matas's game and go, this kid's got it. It just got to click for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's not, I think the biggest difference is, right, like where we look at P. Will and me and you can say, he's got everything. He ain't got the brain for it. For us, it was like Matas is way too smart and knows this game way too well and wants to be good way too much. He almost needs to slow himself down a little bit so that the game can come to him easy. Because Matas is like, I'm going to drive into 4 people and dunk on all of y'all. It's like, all right, Matas, like, hold on. You don't need to do that. Let Giddey set you up for this wide open dunk underneath the bucket. Take this easy 3 over here, right? You don't need to take the contested shot. Like Matas, when people say, you know, that the Matas has that drive to go out there and be one of the best, like he's done nothing this offseason but work. And it took, I think people looked at that first game and were like, oh, here we go in Summer League. After that, Matas was basically filleting mugs on the court. Yeah. They was just like, go sit down. We know you can play. All right, well, you're done. You're done.
We'll see. Matas is the type of player that, you know, we said it multiple times. I don't know what else to say about Matas. Like, he's the type of player you feel comfortable betting on him, maximizing on whatever potential's there, whatever that's going to be, because he's going to work. He's going to put in the work. He's going to want to be great, and he's going to take everything as a personal challenge. Like every time somebody beats him defensively, he's going to take that as a challenge, and he's not going to want to let that happen again. You need players like that, right? Like we've talked about P. Will and his passive nature. it has hurt him because P. Will is just taking everything in stride, benching. Okay, cool. I'll just come off the bench.
Yeah.
Matas isn't going to do that. Matas is going to take everything as a motivating factor to be better and take it to the next step.
A lot of times we say you got to roll with the punches. Matas is like, nah, I'm going to just take that punch to the face and while I'm trying to punch you back. P. Will going to roll with the punches. I got benched. Oh, I'm down. I bet I'm on the bench now. Y'all taking some minutes away. That's cool. I got 19 mil. I'm down. Yeah. Like he's just going through whatever he got to go through to get to this next level. Matas is like, hey man, you hit me in the face. Try that again. I'm gonna punch you 3 times. And then I'm gonna try and punch you some more. Like it's relentless with him. And I think that's the mindset and the mentality that I've talked about a couple of times. You have to have with the young dudes that's coming up in this NBA. If you don't, how you gonna compete against Anthony Edwards? Mm-hmm. How you gonna compete against Ja? How are you gonna compete against Shea? How are you gonna compete against, like these mugs are different. This ain't the friendship league no more. LeBron's on his way out. Maybe. I don't know. He might play till he's 50 at this point.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. We shall see.
But hey, we got to talk about doubling down on the play style here. But first, no ad read, but this weird break.
All right, Patrick. Let's go ahead and get up out of here. The Chicago Bulls, we already read the in which they talked about the style. The Bulls have been talking a lot about this play style, this getting out in transition, the shooting threes. Like it's this thing that they're hanging their hat on, is this style of play. Is this the right thing? Like is that the right pathway? Are they over kind of analyzing what the style of play was done for them because they still lack defensively? Yeah, you were a really good offensive team as far as putting up numbers, but you kind of lacked in certain areas in defensively. Like I get it, like we've gone so far as to even like Billy Donovan said that they have an identity. Like you have a play style. Yeah. I don't think you have an identity quite yet, but how do you view it, Pat?
I do think the Bulls have an identity. I think they have a very run and gun style offense that you can spread the floor with. But doesn't matter if somebody else scores more than you, right? And I think the defensive play style is probably the one that is the bigger thing that's in question. Now, Billy Donovan can scheme up a solid defense, but we're still ending games, 138, 124 sometimes. You have to be able to do that on a night in and night out basis. The improvement of Matas defensively has to happen. The improvement of Noah Essengay has to come quickly. And I think that Isaac Okoro and I throw his name in there, Patrick Williams, wake up. Like the NBA is turning into a league that has a role for you. Wake up. If we watch,
been an NBA that had a role for him, he don't care.
If you watch the NBA playoff, and I don't think that we're just going to go all the way back to like anybody can get through. Everything's a foul. If you breathe on somebody, it's over with. Yeah, you 5 fouls in the first half, unless you're Jaren Jackson Jr. Then you're probably getting 5 fouls in the first half. But the league is allowing for more physical play. And that is why I think the Bulls have gone some of the routes that they have gone where, listen, your offensive play style is fine, but can you get after these teams defensively? Can you go out there and out? Can you out physical, which I think is where the Bulls have always kind of gotten out of their game. Can you out physical sounds so weird to say, but y'all know what I mean by that. Like, can you overpower a team? Can you punch back when somebody punches you in the mouth? We've seen when the Bulls get into these battles with Miami, the Bulls often come out on the losing end because it takes them completely out of their game. When they get into these fighting matches with Indiana, the Bulls oftentimes come out on the other end because it takes them out of their game. When Bobby Portis starts pushing people around, it takes them out of their game. I think that goes back to the conversation we were just having about, Matas Buzelis and his mindset. Like you have to be, the offensive play style is fine, but can you be just as physical on the other end? Because if you could become one of those teams, like Minnesota is, and I'll throw OKC in there, they're a little bit more finesse, but they'll get gritty with you. Like, then you can start to have some conversations about you truly moving up the standings and truly moving up the rankings here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, you want to keep building towards something, right? And having the style of play, because we've talked about the Bull style before we revolutionized. Well, changed our style, not we didn't revolutionize anything. We changed our style, but quite a bit from
Modern
where
basketball.
we were before, right? And so you want to keep going down that path. You want to keep doing that. But the one thing that I've seen AK, and I don't know if AK is the exec that said that, in fairness, right? But we've seen AK hang his hat on stuff before and be like, oh yeah, we're good. I just hope that that's not the case. I just hope that it's not going to be where it's AK like, yeah, we're playing fast, we're getting out, we're getting as much threes up in the league, we're doing what we need to do. That's it. Like, it's like, yeah, you need to start having success in doing that before you can just rest on those laurels. And that's a little bit of what I'm worried about when it comes to AK and these comments we keep hearing about the Bulls style.
No, I do agree with that. I mean, listen, the bottom line is you haven't won anything. I can feel good about how a system works listen, I feel good about how the Kirk Heinrich Bulls played. It was one of my favorite Bulls teams to watch. Didn't win you anything. Got you competitive runs in the playoffs a couple times, but like you get through a round here, you get bounced because there's a better team that has more talent. At the end of the day, you need the talent to win, but having the play style already in place is a big part of that. And I think kind of to further that conversation about the Kirk Heinrich Bulls, right? The second you drop Derrick Rose and them boys in there, oh my goodness, this team's mindset and play style is already kind of in place. You got to find that guy. That's what it will always come down to that for me. Don't look at the Indiana Pacers and say that's the way to build a team. By the way, they still lost. You know what I mean? Like, that's a great team to have, which now it's completely dismantled. But that was a great team to have throughout go back 50, 60, 70 years. Usually stars are the ones winning championships, not fun systems.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So we'll see what ends up happening, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV. Basically, anywhere you want us, you can get it. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
Peace.